Okay, let's see if we can hear myself, or if I can hear myself, then it should be fine and we can start. Maybe I can hear it. Okay, there we go. So I can hear myself and we can start going through the requests. So again, I've got quite a few different ones, and today again I meant to do the live stream as I'm not tomorrow back here anymore, so that's why I'm doing it on Wednesday instead of Thursday like I normally do. I think I got quite a few different new ones that are going to be Patreon only though, as they have not been analyzed previously. Hood is not one of them. Let's see if I have. There is actually nothing here as in Elliott waves. Oh, this looks just horrible. I think we can probably do this on live stream, because again, this is from basically the June. We can see that the structure coming down is kind of impulsive. We can't really analyze this too much, but yeah, it is kind of impulsive to the downside. Let me see if I can bring up the chat if there is someone and someone there asking questions so I can answer them. Maybe I can see it from here. I can't even chat myself there for some reason. How does that work? Probably doesn't really work that well. Let me copy the URL and do it again, maybe here. There we go, now I can see the chat, I think. So weird, the YouTube live stream thing. Nick Hill, hello. Let's start with the hood, so let's start going through these. So obviously again, we had a structural low here on June 16th. Since then, again, we came up in either 3 here, then had another potential 3 wave. It's not the best one here, because again, since we took out this high here with something like this, the expectation was that this would be a B wave instead of a wave X, like I think at the moment it is, because this looks more like a 3 than anything else. Let's see some of the targets here. 2-to-1 extension, so it's very extreme. Bitcoin levels and targets. I'm going to do Bitcoin later on this live stream, not yet. But at this point, I feel like we are getting a pardon leg for whatever this was, and it's kind of weird. This low here on RSI. We generally don't get that, because that would have been very nice for this. But it's not a low here on a structure like that. So I feel like this is instead part of this. And we have something like this maybe. Or this is soon to be complete, this whole thing. And this was a 3 wave here, 3 wave here, and 3 wave here. I feel like the liquidity above here is too good to be untested and untaken. So that is one of the targets for sure, 12.7. I wouldn't really be interested in this at all until we take out that high. Some of the extension targets is something that we can definitely take a look at. 1-to-1 we hit. 1.236 would be the area I would be interested in it. So I'll just set an alarm here on top of the previous peak. Nothing else at this moment I would be interested in this at all. Again, very overlapping structures. I don't see anything impulsive about this unless we create a structure like this. And of course, this peak has to take out this to create some kind of diagonal possibility here. So yeah, that's that. ROKU. So this was the expectation previously, where we were creating a potential B wave here. We got that wave Y coming down, and then the expectation was a C wave up, because again that kind of looked like a 5 wave up, or had the potential of being 5 wave. Of course, it has the potential of being 3 wave. Retracement was very shallow. It came back to the golden pocket though, right into it, took out the liquidity here, and then went up. The question here is this actually an ABC? Because this definitely has the potential of being 3 waves as well. And because we can just do this as well, W, X, and Y. At this point, as the wave C would extend very far up higher, because again that would be a 5 wave, and this would be the wave 1, 2, something like 3, 4, 5 you would be expecting it here. So there's 2 alternates here for sure. Not an easy one. I think this is the lower low, yeah it is. So this would be expecting wave 3. This whole thing would be a, here we go. Nothing has changed on Bitcoin on higher time frame, I don't think. I'm going to be looking at that later on though. So 1-to-1, somewhere around $90 for this kind of structure. If this is indeed is an ABC instead of that 1.618, then we would be looking at some of these targets here. More towards here. 1-to-1 would be the first one, right? Might be looking for some kind of short possibility. It has been very impulsive here, and probably on smaller time frames we have already divergence here. Yeah, we do. The most bullish would be that this would be a 1-2, 1-2 here. We have hit the 0.618, so technically it is possible that this whole thing is done here. We have taken out the liquidity here as well, so we could be done here, could be coming down soon for this whole wave Y being done, or that again the more bullish setup is a 1-2, 1-2, then 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, and then create a very extended ABC here, or a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 does not really fit the higher time frame as the expectation here was a wave 4. So again, expecting this to be a 3 wave instead. At this point, I would be definitely looking for a short possibility here. This is not really something I would be playing into. I want to be seeing some kind of break downwards, then a push up first before I would be looking for a short to the downside. Generally, for wave 2s, we want to have a zigzag, so a 3-way structure here, and then we could be looking for a long setup. If this is indeed already done into these 0.618 extensions here, then this would be has the potential of being that 1-2 setup to the downside, of which again we would be looking for this 5th wave of primary degree. So again, that is always on the table. So this is something you could be keeping an eye on. I'm probably looking for that as well on myself. Solana. I think Solana is on the list to do as well already, but we can take a look at that now. If I could find it. Here we go. So Solana is doing again something weird. I'm not quite sure what it is doing. This was the original plan. Oh, the plan has changed quite a few times, where we had this as a ABC coming up. We're nowhere near around the 1-to-1. However, now we have taken out again the previous highs here, and it's still looking kind of bullish. Of course, there was divergences all around, but we are still gaining momentum to the upside still. I'm still on that long for Solana, as I have not seen a good thing or good looking thing here for the bears. So at this point, I would be looking for some kind of market structure change, at least these lows here around 21.7 and the 20.49 to be taken. Then we might be looking at something else here instead. But currently, again, we are still potentially correcting higher. Everything is overlapping. We can see that overlaps. So again, it's correcting higher. Doesn't mean that we can't correct to $30 correcting this whole thing. But again, it's very overlapping. So again, I would be expecting that to break that trend at some point. Can you take a look at the USDT domains? I'm only doing the request from Patreon, unfortunately. And that's Solana at the moment. Nothing else really interests me in Solana. Nothing else has changed overall. I'm still liking the idea that we would be getting a partner like it for this, but I'm not quite sure if I like this mess that we have here. It's possible that this sideways consolidation is just first structure here, and then we get lower and then pump later on this year, or that this would be some kind of diagonal labeled somehow. That would be the last leg of this. At that point, again, the primary goal for this last leg is to take out these previous highs here around $26 or $27. So again, that would be the main areas of interest. Atom. Yeah, Atom was one of these weird ones from June 2022 coming up in very correctively. We had channels going on here. Not really sure what this is doing, to be honest. There's potential some kind of triangle in here, very ugly one, some kind of three-wave here. I'm not quite sure what this would be part of, but again, it can't be any kind of impulsive structure since we have already taken out the low here. So more likely is that we are creating this kind of three-way structure, and now we could be starting to create another leg upwards in corrective fashion. That is a possibility. So let's take a look at that smaller time frame. And again, very similar to the idea we had on Solana for that potential diagonal. It looks way better here on Atom. We had a breakdown here. So again, there is overlap on some of these legs. So it's not, again, particularly pretty, the breakdown to the lows. So there might be a chance that we do something like this. If this indeed is a leading diagonal, although there is no divergence here, note that. So it lowers the probabilities of that happening, or that being a diagonal, because again, divergences are expected there. I would still like to look for long setup somewhere in here around $8.50 if this comes back in here. There is a chance that this structure in the middle is not complete, and we do something like that to create a bit more time in here, then take some kind of liquidity on one of these lows before we start to pump up again. And yeah, those are the things I would be looking for on Atom. Probably want to be setting some alerts here around $8.60 on these lows, and probably at the lows previous to it, and then see if there is anything else that we can have. Golden Bokeh right below here would be ideal area. 0.5 at these lows here. So again, that would be kind of ideal as well. Let's see what we can get volume wise here. Probably somewhere in here. Yeah. Point of control. Point. Where are we going? Try that again. So point of control. Range value area low here at the 0.5. So again, that would be fitting very decently. Let's see some fib extensions here. which one of these is the lowest? There might be some kind of ending diagonal here as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Really not really easy to label that. 1 to 1 again at the 8.6 area. So this area here would be very heavy on confluence, this 0.5. So definitely setting alarms there and looking for a reaction. At this point again, this is pivoted from here. If we get up beyond these highs, then we want to be shifting the fib around if we can create a three-way structure here. So yeah, that's that. And then we can react on it. If we create a three-way structure here, we could be looking for another short opportunity, but again, this is not the prettiest one. So keep your options open and at least acknowledge that. If you want to be going short, you definitely go against these highs, and I wouldn't be going on full position because again, this is not the prettiest one. But definitely something to monitor until some of these are happening. Then Tesla, again, yet another one that is on the list already. You can see the pinned comment on Discord. This is again for patrons only. This came up in 3. This is something that I haven't been able to figure out what this is, unless we have this as 3, 3, and then 5. The structure coming from here is the only reason I'm still looking for this potential wave 4. The issue is, however, this wave 2 here is very small in comparison to anything here. So I'm kind of hesitant to call it like this. I'm starting to wonder if there is a structure that this is an A, B, or a 1, 2, sorry, and this would be already a third wave. However, again, we have not hit any of the the main goals basically for Tesla. Again, we're on regular scales here for the 1.618. So that's why I'm not really saying that we have this as wave 3. That's why I'm still looking for this wave C as wave 4 of that wave C. But again, the extension on and the size of this wave 4 is starting to make this a bit different, or starting to make it a bit weird looking, I guess. So I'm not quite sure. At this point again, I'm still on the long side on Tesla. I might want to be going for, I wanted to go look for some kind of short opportunity here at the highs, because this here, like from the very highs, this was larger, this middle structure here, and this obviously here is larger than the previous one. So again, some kind of expanding diagonal. I don't typically trade expanded diagonals, which is why I did not enter already into this. But again, this would fit the idea that we would be in some kind of three-way structure here, and then this whole thing would be an ABC, and this would be minute. And inside here, we would have this as a 1, 2, looking for 3, 4, 5, as that was a C wave. So that would be this. Again, we came up in 3, and we've had some kind of move to the downside. Not the prettiest, and this was kind of extended as well. Again, very typical currently for Tesla, where every pump is very radical. So, which is why again this would be counter trend or counter trend move. So you definitely need to be careful on it. 1.618 was hit, and yeah, if we come back to these highs, 271, this would allow us to say that okay, it is confirmed that this is no longer 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If we take out this high, however, it is possible to say that we have a 5-way move here, and at that point again, I'm not quite sure what this whole thing is. Because again, this looked more like 3. This looked more like 3. if this is already a 5-way move, and especially if it pumps up and takes these highs, then I need to go back to the drawing board. At this point, at that point, I have no idea what's going on again. But these are the two areas you would be interested in, this high and this high at this point. Seeing which one is going to take and which one you're going to be preferring. If it takes as lows, look for retracement and then look for that dump for that potential third wave. Lift, LYFT. Okay, that's a new asset, so I'm not going to go through that on this stream. BYND doesn't sound familiar either, so that's a new asset. Fubo, another new asset. Oh, GRPN. None of these are. This one I've heard of. TWLO. Was this one of these new ones that I didn't get a chance to create a chart for yet? Yeah, it is. So this is the next Patreon one. We did AMD last time. DDOG. So this never came back for us to get in, and it just pumped massively after. Let's clear some of this mess over here. Yeah, this still has very much potential coming down. Again, it's not even clear that this is a 5-way move to the high upside. Again, we can see that these boxes here is just demonstration of all the support and resistance areas here, which were interesting. But this is still the low here. It is possible that a wave Y here is in, and this would be a wave 1, 2, instead of an A wave here. Because this is not not the best at the moment anymore. Where's the low here? So this is the low, I think. Yeah, that is lower, that is lower. Probably higher. Yeah, there's divergences here. So again, if this was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at least, I would have expected this to be done already, the C wave, but it's not done. And looks like we are still pumping. Either there is a chance that this is still a 3 wave here, and we are creating some kind of expanded flat here, and it is possible that wave C is in. It's possible that this is a wave 4 of that C as well. At which point again this is not done and we would be getting one more high. If we go beyond the 1.618 retracement of this first leg here, beyond the $111 area, I'll set an alert there, then we can confirm that this is not a wave B anymore, which would mean that it's more likely not to be a wave 4 of wave B of a wave 4 anymore. So again, this would mean that this is already probably a wave 4 here, and we are getting one more last leg up. I don't think this is large enough to correct the whole thing, so that's why I'm thinking that this is still part of this move here. $1.618 is one of the targets here. $115.87 would be one target. It would be comparing this wave 1 to this potential wave 5 here. You could be even saying that we have this as a 1, 1, 2 here, getting closer to the 1.618 here. Getting that 5 wave in, and then we could be looking at it. Kind of like that. I'll set another alert here around $100. if we come back to these peaks here, it means that this whole thing is over. And if we don't create another wave 4 here and wave 5, it has very much of this potential, having this wave 4 and then one more pump. Generally don't want to be seeing it coming through these lows though, at least too much. Then we lose the probability of that being a wave 4. But yeah, that's DDOG. Snow. Snowflake. That's a new asset. I'm going to be moving that. Let's see. After lift. But yeah, that's all the requests for now that I got. Then we can take a look at the Livestream ideas. So let's start with the again usual ones that are stock ones. Where do we have it? NVDA. Came down in 3, potential 5. There's overlap here, so that made it worse looking. There's still no confirmation that this whole thing to the upside is even done. It's super extended already though, so generally not a good thing to see. Around the 1.236, 1.618, at that point again we would be confirming that this would be more of a start of something new and not just a potential B wave in retracement terms. Of course, this already looks more like a 5-way move, which would mean that this low here would stay intact. Depends of course on your views how that is playing out, but yeah. I kind of like this still, looking for that short opportunity. This came up in very weird ways again, similar to this creating this last leg that I'm not expecting. This created 5-way move down, and then now it's creating something else. Maybe if you get one more high, we can get a diagonal here. But again, if we were to create one more high, I would be expecting it to be taking at this high. At that point again, we confirm that this is not a impulse way down, and yeah, I'm not quite sure then how this would be fitting anything. There's no overlap here, right? $418.44, $418.45, so no overlap. Yeah, I'm not really excited on this NVDA asset at this point at all. So we'll see how that turns out. I'm still on that short. We'll see. I'll get stopped out on these highs. If that happens, then I don't know what is going on. What else do we have? Netflix. Definitely not the good asset that I was hoping for as well. Possibility for long setups here. As we came down in 3, you could be looking for that momentum to be carried out again. This could still be part of that wave 4, or sorry, wave 2, where you would be having this as a 3-way coming down, and then 3, 4, 5. In the idea that we are still looking for that last leg upwards. So that is something to keep in mind. If you're already in this, then you still have the stop at the same lows here. It's kind of a drop already, so it would be a massive drop, so you don't have too much skin in it. So again, I would be liking it to hold or break these lows here to get into a position, a better position. Let's get another alert here. Maybe around the 426 would be probably decent. Be around golden pocket exactly. Yeah, this would be so nice. And then you would be targeting way higher. Yeah, this looks very nice at this point. That's Netflix, again on smaller time frame, not on higher time frame. Higher time frame is weird. Meta, a higher time frame is even weirder, as it has been just following this kind of channeling thing going on for so long since, what is this? This is the November 2022 lows, and we've been just following this kind of channel here. It's very odd. I don't really like it too much. I wouldn't be trading this at all. We had the chance of one-to-one extension here and the golden pocket retracement. It was in the middle of this fair value gap though, so again, not the best area. Let's see if we can get some volume data here. There is some more volume coming in here. Again, that is not very good of an area. Yeah, Meta is the worst, one of the ones that we go through, so I wouldn't really be interested in this. There's no real structure here to be built or analyzed, so I'll just skip it. And Tesla we already talked about on the lower time frame here. Next is Bitcoin. Had some potential short opportunities here that we had posted, so we're looking for potential partner leg for this one here, and originally I was already expecting it to be done here, but obviously that is not the case, and yeah, stop is remaining at these highs. We'll see how this turns out. We had the structure coming down, looks more like three-way though, so again, I'm gonna be kind of a bit scared on this because it's not the best. But yeah, overall expectation is that we would be looking for a partner leg for this structure coming down. So again, main target would be taking out these lows here, and of course this has already been tapped, this naked point of control here, so that's no longer valid. But yeah, that looks decent. Was requested higher time frame. Nothing really changed. Again, I think one of the previous videos that I created on Bitcoin, I think on the last live stream even we went through the higher time frames. So again, this could be an ABC. It could be a 1-2-1-2, which is not the best looking thing at all. If it is a ABC into these highs, you would be looking for this as some kind of corrective structure, correcting this first structure, and then we'd be expecting another move to the upside into around the, well, almost the 40Ks. So, but again, we don't even know if this here is done. You could be having this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then you would be getting that retracement, and then another leg up to create a partner leg for this. Or if this is already done, you would be looking for that kind of retracement. But again, at that point, it would be more of a sideways, and you wouldn't be able really to play against these lows. You'd be playing against something like this. So it's not as easy because of the shallow retracement. It's more wasting time than anything else. We generally don't want it to be using this much time, of course, but we're not even close to that yet, so I don't think we need to be worrying about it. But yeah, local trades should be done now, and not really focused on the higher time frames, in my opinion, because again, the higher time frame has not changed. Nothing has invalidated anything. So I'm just still watching this whole thing, and we'll see how that turns out. Again, this is the shorts that I'm in at the moment. Then take a look at the ETH. Very similar. It came up even higher, than Bitcoin. Kind of scared. And now it's coming down again. Not the best one. ABC here was very decent one. This was the short that I had. And then we took profits and again stop loss to break even, and then, well, got stopped out here. But again, that was after taking profits. This here is horrible looking. I have no idea what it is. Maybe three. I'm not sure. The overall higher time frame idea is ETH against these highs, exactly the same as Bitcoin if we were to be looking for that kind of structure. Here, however, Bitcoin had its low, I think here, which was a bit lower than on ETH. ETH had this very much more clear as a three-way structure coming down. So there is definitely a chance that we would be correcting up higher. ETH, however, had this kind of decent looking structure here that was in three waves. Again, hit the 1-to-1. I did not notice this triangle structure here before, but again, now it is very clear. I do like the idea that we would be creating, oops, this should be here, either a diagonal in here, as the expectation here was wave 1 of that C wave, or if that is not the case, we would be correcting this whole thing, and this here would be a fifth wave of this wave A here. So that would be two different scenarios. But yeah, we could be already doing something like this. Not to confuse anyone at this point, but yeah. Let me mute that here. But yeah, this is definitely another setup that is to be played. Anything else here? Solana we already talked about. ADA. We already had a setup on ADA as well. It was a bullish one. I don't think I gave this setup though. This one here. So again, it is. I had this very small time frame trade. Oops. Very small time frame trade here. When I saw this 5-wave divergences on smaller time frame, and I wanted to get another move to the upside. This was the 5-wave that I was looking for, and at that point again I got out like half here, and we've been still consolidating to the upside. Where am I getting spammed from? I don't know. Annoying Discord sound somewhere when I have everything muted. I thought I did. But yeah, ADA, if you want to be bullish, this is the only way of being bullish. Having this as some kind of diagonal, we would need to get beyond the previous highs. So again, that was based on the higher time frame idea that we would be going higher here. It's not certain that we need to be going higher before lower. It could be that we have this whole thing still as a way to. It would be very, very large in time, so that's why I don't really prefer that. But yeah, the idea overall, more higher prices if this indeed turns into a diagonal. But that is way too early to tell yet. And then we had Phantom FTM. This was again one of those assets that is not really clear here what this is. There's definitely multiple ways of labeling this. Maybe into the 1.236. So again, the extension wise, if we are having this as a 3-wave, it's not very bullish in that sense. And then coming down in 3 as well. So we could be creating a larger WXY here. Let's see this one here. I mean, there is definitely a way to label this into a 5. The issue is that this can very easily to be labeled as an ABC instead of a start of something. We even have the divergences from here. So again, that is very something that you generally look for in flats as well, expanded flats, to create this kind of ABC. And if that is the case, what you would be doing is that this would be either a connecting structure of this or a connecting structure of this. So yeah, you could be looking for a scalp here. If this comes a bit deep, you would be going against these lows on a long position here. But again, that would be scary, but you would be acknowledging that you have a risk of just losing if this indeed is an ABC. However, if this is a 5-way move, that is actually a start of something new, you would be getting this. So you always have to understand how the markets can move, and that is the way they can move at this point for Phantom. So yeah, let's see if we can find some kind of extension targets that we can like. I'm not going to go too detailed into it. There is some confluence here, 1.236, 1.382, sorry, and the golden pocket. Some confluence there. Maybe that is some area of interest. Main target here, taking out the low here, getting that 1-to-1 extension here towards the 0.5. Maybe that is something alert as well. And on RSI, again, don't want to be taking out this low here. But yeah, those are the two areas of interest, 26.8 and 26.4. And that would be long attempts against the low. And of course, where you'd be pivoting, you would be looking for the extension into 1-to-1. If it turns into more bullish, you'd be looking for that 1.618, 4 and 5, get the divergence going and take profits here. The 1.618 again is one of the areas you would be looking to take profits as well. At least I do, because sometimes crypto are very extended, and the 1.618 is a very decent extension already here. So you would be looking to, you can see the risk to reward ratios are getting way better here. Then we're going to go through the indices. Let's start with YM, which is a Dow. Today we've been pumping. This was the idea that we've been talking about for so long. Having this as a potential 1-2. We took out the lows here, took out the liquidity, pump, and yeah, nothing else to say about it. The main idea has been that we are looking for either a wave C here or a wave 3. Either this would be an ABC or a 1, 2, 3, depending on how we're getting here. At this point again, if this indeed is the pivot for wave 2, let's take a look at the extension targets. Wave 3 left. 1.618 would be already at the 1.618 basically of this ABC. So instead of this being an ABC, it would be more probable that as we would be creating 1.1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here, this would become a third wave instead of this C wave. And then this would be wave 4, similar size to this, or well, you could be doing something like this, maybe expanded structure, as this is not an expanded, this is more like a zigzag. And here respecting this low here, and then looking for that last leg in, and at that point again we would be creating and completing the structure here, and this would be the end of that bear market rally. This would be the important area here, the very important area. So there might be an opportunity to come here on indices still, that we would be looking to create some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, look for pullback, and then you could have another entering setup here against this current lows. If it goes lower, then maybe it is part of this, or a bit deeper retracement. Again, market makers could be playing with all the monies. But yeah, that's Dow Jones going really as expected at this point. ES pumped. This has been the drawing that I think we've had for a few weeks now. June 16th, July. Yeah, it's almost a month ago when we were starting to talk about the possibilities of creating 3s and 4s here. Also the possibility of not having a diagonal here, but again, I don't really like that. The idea that we are just creating higher highs with losing momentum on higher time frame, as we currently have that. We could be creating even one more high here. This has been very weird. Come on, why is it? I need to mute things. There we go. Either we have this as some kind of structure like that. I don't really like the idea that this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here, because again, the expectation was a 3-way structure into the wave Y. This is way closer to completing something than Dow is. If Dow was to complete something in here, and now we'd be pivoting down already, I'm not quite sure how I would like that. If we respect this high here, then maybe this is a wave 1 and this would be a wave 2 here, and then we plummet, and at that point again this whole thing would be an ABC already complete, because this has gone beyond the 0.618 here. It has the validity of being a C wave. But yeah, those are the ideas currently on ES as well. It's, I don't know, this drawing has been going at exactly, or the price has gone exactly as the drawing has. NASDAQ, don't really have much on here at the moment. See if I have hidden something here. This is the most bullish scenario, of course. If we have pivoted from here, we would be looking for a massive amount of time waste here, 3s and 4s, overlaps starting to become, and then we would be wasting time a long time, few months at least. This is the similar situation that we would have as with the ES coming down into an end, where we would have consolidations here and creating 3s and 4s of this smaller degree, and then pivoting down as with the idea that this would be a WXY. And inside the wave Y we would have an ABC here. Yeah, nothing else really is good. That actually can be removed. That can be removed. So as this, yeah. That's NASDAQ. That's fast. We had RTY. This actually pumped a bit. I'm still not going to be trading this though. If this turns out into a diagonal, maybe in here we could be looking for a short opportunity, or the long opportunity here would be even better. Before that, again, I'll just let it play out, as it hasn't got any kind of pretty structure. DAX, long here, similar to the other indices where I was expecting longs. I was doing this, and I took this a bit later than I wanted to, but yeah, 1-to-1 hit, and then we started to pivot. I wanted to get in, and yeah, has gone decently well so far. ORS 200, exactly the same thing. Indices are pumping, so I was getting in on this. A bit deeper of a retracement. I wanted to jump in on here, and when we saw a fire wave here coming down, we had divergences. I got in on late. I did not get in on a pullback. I wanted to get in on this, so I just set a long against these lows. Again, smaller position, but it's against these lows. At this point, again, this could be already done with the first one, because again, we are starting to get some kind of divergences here. Maybe this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some kind of 3-way pullback. You could be looking for more upside easily. The expectation here on ORS 200 would be that we have this as a wave A, and targets would be somewhere in here. So again, if you were to get in a trade here on a pullback, you would be going against these lows instead of the lows here, and you can see that the expectation for the risk to reward ratios are really decent here already. Of course, depending on the pullback and where you're going to be entering, they are going to be changing quite drastically. But that's ORS 200 and all the indices basically gone through at this point. Let's see. I think that is, we're starting to go, all getting done all of these. I feel like, yeah, those are all of the ones I got covered. So yeah, I don't think there is any other requests or comments on these on Discord. So I think I'm going to be wrapping it up here. I don't think, yeah, I think that's all for now. Again, thanks for watching and chatting. The few who actually got in here today. Again, it's definitely not the normal setup or time. So yeah, Bitcoin is covered. You can scroll back on the video or the live stream to check that out. You can see that there. But yeah, that's all. That's it. Thanks for watching and catch you on the next live stream again. Bye bye.